we just arrived in Tours, which is a city along the valley of Loire, the river. And the reason that we decided to come here is because it's located on a very nice distance across different chateaux that we want to visit, and we are planning to show you some of the most typical ones in the next few days, so stay tuned. Okay, do you see that place behind me? There's so many places here around the city center, and the first one that I saw and I was like, oh, this one looks very nice. It says that it's an Italian place. And we actually have that with Nikki. When we first visited Barcelona, we were on one of the big squares, can't remember the name, and we were like, now we want to find the most typical Spanish place that is super typical for here. And we were taking a look around, and there were like maybe 15 restaurants, and we sat on one, and then we were looking at the menu and we were like, that's an Italian place. We wanted to sit on a very typical Spanish place, but we sat on an Italian place. So there's something about Italian places that's just our thing. But we're taking a little bit more look around, and we'll see. So many old buildings. Thank you. Merci. We had some sleep, we had some breakfast, and now we're going to the first chateau that we're visiting today, Chateau Royal d'Amboise. Okay, so this chateau in particular has a very interesting history. I would suggest that many of them do, but I really find this fascinating. So, because there were some restorations, it was going down, it has been refurbished, it has been damaged. Leonardo da Vinci lived here. So, let's go through some of the details together. The chateau is located at the valley of the Loire river, and it was confiscated by the monarchy in the 15th century. The chateau was improved over time, and on September the 4th, 1434, it was seized by Charles VII because his owner, Louis d'Amboise, who was Viscount of Tours, was convicted of plotting against Louis XI and was condemned to be executed in 1431. However, the king pardoned him, but took his chateau, and once in royal hands, the chateau became a favorite of French kings, from Louis XI to Francis I. Charles VIII decided to rebuild it extensively, beginning in 1492. At first in the French late Gothic Bouillon style, and then after in 1495, he actually employed two Italian mason builders who provided at Amboise some of the first Renaissance decorative motifs seen in French architecture. Also, the names of the three French builders are preserved in the documents. Actually, King Francis I was raised here, since the chateau belonged to his mother, and during the first years of his reign, the chateau reached the pinnacle of its glory, and as a guest of the king, Leonardo da Vinci came to the chateau in 1515 and lived and worked in the nearby place connected to the chateau by an underground passage. Records show that at the time of Leonardo da Vinci's death on May 2nd, 1519, He was buried at the Chapel of Saint Florentin, which is actually approximately 100 meters away from the Chapel of Saint Hubert. After the French Revolution, the Chapel of Saint Florentin was in such a bad condition that the engineer appointed by Napoleon decided that it was not worth preserving and had it demolished. The remaining stonework was used to repair the chateau. Some 60 years later, the foundation site of the Chapel of Saint Florentin was excavated. It is alleged that the complete skeleton was found with fragments of a stone inscription containing some of the letters of his name. However, other accounts describe heaps of bones and even anecdotes of children kicking skulls around for fun and games. Nonetheless, based on some recent accounts, it is the collection of bones that were found to be whole and with an extraordinary large skull that was supposed to be buried in the Chapel of St. Hubert, where now a large floor-level marble stone bearing a metal medallion relief portrait of Leonardo da Vinci. So this is actually indicative that probably this is his final resting place. Since the 1840s, the chateau has been listed as a monument historique by the French Ministry of Culture. Then King Louis Philippe began restoring it during his reign, but with his abdication in 1848, the chateau was confiscated by the government. A captive was held here, Emir Abdul al-Qadir, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, who resisted the French colonization of Algeria, and his family and him was staying here in the chateau. Later in 1852, President Louis Napoleon Bonaparte visited the place and gave the prisoner the news that he's gonna be released. In 1873, Louis Philippe's heirs were given control of the property and they started repairing it. During the German invasion in 1940, the chateau was damaged further. Today, the present descendant of Louis Philippe repairs and maintains the chateau through the Foundation Saint Louis. Ticket is €15 for adults and it includes entry and also an online guide that you can listen to. Look at that tree. Me and Nikki have this tradition of buying a painting, a picture, a card from each place that we visit, and we place them on our wall of travels. This is what we got for €1.50. Normally we try to buy a painting from a local street artist, but we didn't see any here, so we decided to buy this from the gift shop. Sitting off here, two things got my attention. Amorino, which is a place for ice cream, one of my favorites, and then that place, I guess, for biscuits and sweets. Honestly, the French with their pastries and their desserts, they're so good and so difficult to resist. So these rockers, and I was just thinking, it reminded me of a situation that I had yesterday. I was going out of the hotel and there was a proper rocker guy in front of the door, and he moved and he said, pardon. I mean, the French, I believe they have bad reputation because they're the French that we have talked to and met are super nice. They say pardon, they move out of your way so that you can go. on your way. They stop on the crosswalks. I mean, I'm so gonna miss that one back in Bulgaria. If you think I'm speaking a little bit weird today, that's because I'm wearing my Invisalign and my elastic bands that I know kind of could look horrible, but it's supposed to be good for me, so I'm trying to wear them more often than I normally am. I apologize for the inconvenience. We're saying goodbye to the chateau now. We're gonna have some food and maybe some wine, and then we're going to see the next place. Stay tuned.